All right, success, ladies and gentlemen, success is number one, the management of efficiency, and number two, the management of change. This is what management is responsible about. However, we are living in a world of interference, first because of the global economy, number two, because of technology, and number three, because of the mindset. And it is at this edge, at this interference level, that board members do act and have a very important impact. The first thing is that directors are there to ensure the consistency of the strategy. I think von Clausewitz said one day the following. He said, strategy is the evolution of a central idea through continually changing circumstances. And we have to be aware of these changing circumstances. Number two, I think Peter Drucker, the management guru, said the following, which I think was very important. It's really to help the enterprise to connect to societies. And he said, today changes in societies have a deeper impact on companies than changes in management. When you are thinking about it, every issue that was raised this morning, whether it's sustainability, gender equality, etc., was raised by society and not by management changes. This is important for the future. Geopolitics, exchange rates, interest rates, protectionism, all those issues are disquieting and destabilizing the market. And out of that, you can make what I call an anxiety index. The anxiety index is when you look first at the currencies, and you see that most currencies have been really going down compared to the dollars. And this is a sign that things are getting a little bit volatile. If you are looking at the world today, during the past 30 years, it was open. We had a fantastic period of time, the world was open. But now when you are looking at the world around, there is a number of markets which start to close down. The US and etc. You know those forbidden world. The big difference today, we had protectionist measures in the past. The big difference today, it is we are moving from a rhetoric of job protection to what of national security. When you are looking at what's happening in the US, the president is using a Trade Expansion Act of 1962, where he says, I am fighting, for example, Huawei, not because they are destroying jobs, but because they are a threat to national security. It's a political debate. It's not anymore an economic one. Burning platform, what is going to be the burning platforms? It's directors and the impact on technology. It's going to change the job completely, as it's going to change all our job. And I think that if you are looking at technology, the technological highway, this is simple. Those companies you have been mentioning this morning, you know, the Tencent, the Amazon, the Alibaba, and all those companies, why are they successful? Number one, they get the technology. Number two, the platform. Number three, they have the data. And number four, they have the markets. Because they have all that, they are successful, but we have seen that before. Now we have a major revolution which is taking place with this technology, and it is the following. Instead of staying on the highway, they are exiting. They are going out. They are going in other industry sectors. Amazon is a world leader in cloud computing, and Amazon is now entering into retail food. They are exiting with Alphabet and Facebook, who are now 75% of digital advertising in the world, are the two. Monsters are under my bed tonight. Ask yourself how many monsters are under the bed, which means who will be your competitors tomorrow? And number two, where will they come from? And I expect that they will come from industry sectors or companies that you have never expected before. And this is very important for the future because management has a tendency to look at what they know, not to look at what they do not know. And the next challenge is the new business models, which are the consequences on that. We have to challenge the business model because there is a technological revolution. We are in a black hole economy, which means at the center you have technology and money. And this technology and money is absorbing all the innovation. And you have to ask yourself, can small company grow big again? Today, look at the impact of technology companies. If something goes wrong there, it goes wrong everywhere. So perhaps the real systemic risk in the future is not banking, it's technology. And we have to be careful about that. It's all a question of attitude. The first one is resilience. Directors should make sure that the company remain resilient, and Epictetus said the following, it's not what happens to you that matters, but how you react to it. We need to make sure that we react quickly to changes and companies react quickly to changes, because this is what it is all about. What you really need in a company is three things, and directors have to be very careful about that. You need integrity, intelligence, and energy. Warren Buffett said that. And then he added something very interesting. He said, but if you don't have integrity, you can kill the company. The worst thing you can have in a company is somebody intelligent with a lot of energy and no integrity. They will put the company bankrupt. And I think we have to keep that in mind. We have to anticipate change. One of the most difficult things is when you ask people, how is it going in the company? Is going fine? You see the wall of the crisis coming your way. You are going full speed into the wall and you ask them, how is it going? And they answer, so far so good. Can you change before you have a crisis or not? This is a big issue, and I think board members have to do that. You have to question management of standard ideas. Most of the time, the problem is standard ideas. And here, John Maynard Keynes said the following. He said, the real difficulty lies not in developing new ideas, but in escaping from the old ones.
Everything that you put out on screen there, Stéphane, felt like it was, this deluge of information for me. And I want to touch on that precisely because in the opening speech we also heard from the chairman that, there's this abundance of data. So what do directors do? What does a board do in responding to this abundance of data out there? You've got 24-hour news cycles, you've got global trends to catch up on, you've got political changes, tweets coming out every hour from the White House. What does someone do in trying to filter all this information?
I think the basic approach is to make the difference between what is urgent and what is important. I think today we're in a world where everything is urgent, but what is urgent is not necessarily important. And I think this is one of the key issues for directors, is to make sure that when they come to board meetings, they have the ability to tell management, all right, you are probably under a lot of pressure to deliver your profit, to look at your quarterly result, etc. But what is really important for the company? Try to get a little bit the longer-term perspective. And I think this is a fundamental added value of directors, is to go into these important issues and ask people, have you considered this and this opportunity? So in my opinion, everything is urgent, but not everything is important.
Let's take a quick look at the question on changing corporate culture, which is,
yes,
according to this question, most difficult. And I have to say, in the Malaysian context, change tends to be difficult anyway. It feels uncomfortable. But in Malaysia, generally speaking, it's even more uncomfortable because we seem to be a high avoidance culture. We there's a tendency to stick to familiar habits. So how would you advise us in the room on how we can expedite the changing of corporate culture process?
It just starts changing a culture means listening. Listening to what's happening around you. Listening to what society is expecting and what your employees are expecting. You want to have the best employees, the best people in the company. Make sure that the company has a value system which is in line with the value system of your employees, and especially with the younger generation. Companies have a formidable tendency to forget. Every time you have a new CEO coming in, he says, I'm going to reinvent the wheel. I'm going to do it differently because the generation before, they had no clue. And I think we need a sense of continuity. We are always speaking about change. But keep in mind, people like also to have, and this is a title here, they like to have a compass. They like to know in which direction the company is going. It's like when you are selling a boat, Melissa. You always need a compass, right? Sometimes you get lost. You look at the compass and you feel better, right? You are still lost, but you have a compass. And the value system is exactly that. This is what keeps an organization together.
All right. In the last minute that we have left, Stéphane, let's do concrete takeaways. We've got a room full of people here. What would you like them to walk away from your session with?
I would say have courage. Don't be impressed by management. They are good people, they are professional, but don't go away from your responsibility to ask every question that you have in your mind. And remember, you are representing also society at large. So you should not shy away. Have courage. Sometimes it's very difficult because that is what's said very rightly by the chairman in the opening. We used to believe that being part of a board is prestigious, that you are part of a club, that you have been co-opted, and therefore you should not ask any bad questions, right? And I think once you are in, you have said everybody, I'm very honored, I'm very privileged, I'm very happy. Next thing, start to ask all the questions which are the disturbing ones. Do not hesitate. If you do hesitate, sooner or later, you will regret it. So do not hesitate and do it.